Hi everyone, my name is Andrea Morley. I am the Communications and Wellness Coordinator at NAL Insurance and Healthy Trucker. For the past 6 years, have been running the Healthy Trucker Wellness Program, where we create resources and education for the trucking industry to try to help drivers and office staff live a healthier lifestyle, whether they're on the road or at home or in the office. Now today I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a talk on wellness, especially during the year 2020, and we will be doing a fun little activity to get you up and moving. Today we're going to talk a little bit about wellness during the year 2020. So I want you to think about what the last 7 months of your life have looked like. For a lot of you, it's probably revolved a lot around COVID-19. And that means that you have been heavily focused on things like getting your essentials, running out to do your groceries, making sure you have food on the table and all the other essentials that you need in order to stay healthy and happy. And it probably means that you have been making sure that your family's needs are met, that you're sanitizing as much as possible and social distancing. Maybe you've spent a little bit of time with a couple of friends that are in your social bubble, but for the most part, I imagine that most of you have been really affected by this in the way that your lifestyle has changed. Now, this means that you're not living at full capacity. This means that you've gotten away from your regular routines, your regular health and wellness routine, maybe what you do for your mental health. And I think that we can all agree that at this time, 7 months in, it's time for a change. Now, COVID-19 isn't going away anytime soon, and we know that. But what we do know is that we cannot continue to live exactly like we have been for much longer, because that is going to continue to have an effect on our physical and our mental well-being. So we need to do what we can now to make sure that we can start to get healthier and happier and not let this virus continue to have the effect on us that it has so far. We want to shift you from being in that survival mode, just surviving, to thriving. So what that's going to mean is that you need to take responsibility for what has fallen to the wayside. Maybe it's your eating patterns, or maybe it's the walks that you used to go on for lunch during your lunch breaks. But you can't go on those walks with your coworkers at lunch anymore because you're not working with your coworkers. Maybe a lot of you are working from home, and that means that a lot of your day is just spent walking from your home office to the kitchen and back. And those are all the steps that you get in the day. Or maybe you're not doing your regular meal prep and preparing your lunches the same way that you normally would. Instead, you're just grabbing whatever you can in the kitchen throughout your workday in between Zoom calls. I understand what that's like, but that is not going to serve you over the next year that you may have to continue working from home. Or maybe you have been an essential worker in this past 7 months and you have been working on site and have been working at your place of work. And then that means maybe you're putting in extra hours. The stress is really getting to you. You're very isolated even at the office because we still have to comply with social distancing. In all of these ways, COVID-19 is really having that negative effect on your mental and physical well-being. So now is the time that you are going to go from surviving to thriving. We're done with the survival mode. We're done with being in that fight or flight response, which is inducing a lot of stress. And then we already know that the effect that stress has on our physical and mental well-being. So we need to try to push that down as much as we can and then let ourselves thrive just a little bit more. Now, one of the ways that we can do that is by just moving a little bit more throughout the day. As I said, if you're working from home, or even if you are working in the office, we weren't able to go to the gym for so long. And if you're not going for those regular walks or in that regular routine that you've been in that you had been in before this pandemic, then you are going to start to feel those effects if you haven't already. I know that for myself, working from home most days means that I really don't get nearly as much activity as I normally would. And I just stopped doing my regular workouts because it just didn't seem as important anymore, and it was so easy to let those things go. So what I want to encourage all of you to do right now is to stand up with me and do a quick 5-minute stretch session. Okay, I'll give you a second to stand up. You can move your chair out of the way if you need to. Get yourself comfortable and in a good position. You're going to stand with your hips square towards the camera, just as I am, facing me, and your feet hip width apart, okay? Now with that good posture, bringing your shoulders back, the first thing that we're going to focus on is stretching out your neck, because if you are working at a desk, I suspect many of you are, or no matter what role you're in, we often don't get enough rotation and range of motion through the neck. So we need to open that up a little bit and just get the neck moving, get things a little bit more fluid, and you're going to feel the benefits of that because you're not going to have nearly as much tension. You're going to have better range of motion. That can decrease the risk of injuries, which is really important from a safety perspective. So starting off, we're going to stretch out the neck. The first thing is really, really simple. I'm just going to have you tilt your left ear or your right ear, it doesn't matter, left ear to the left shoulder. So if you're left ear, left shoulder, or right ear to right shoulder. Now, if you want, you can just put your hand on the top of your head as I'm doing right now. Don't pull down on your head. You're just going to use your hand to keep your head kind of in place, right? Now, we would normally hold a stretch for 15 to 30 seconds, even 45 seconds if you want to, but for time's sake, we might cut a few of these a little bit short. So now stand back up straight, and then you can shift to the other side, bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. Now, if you're like me and you have gotten away from your stretching or your yoga routine, you're gonna feel a lot of tension in that side of the neck. That's okay. All I want for you to do is to commit to doing this a little bit more regularly, and you're gonna feel so much better, and that tension is really going to dissipate. Standing back up straight, we have a couple more things for the neck because this is such a problem area for so many people, especially if they drive a lot. I work with truck drivers specifically, so they are often struggling with the range of motion in the neck, and that's really important for them because they need to be able to look in the mirrors, look at the windows, constantly moving their head and neck, and we don't want them to have any head or neck issues. So next, we are going to simply look to either side. So first, I'm just going to keep my entire body from the neck down square in front of me, but then I'm going to turn my head to the left as far as I can. Now, ideally, I want to be able to see what is behind me. So I know that I have a plant behind me and I can just see that peeking in my kind of peripheral vision. Now looking straight back in front of you, look at me. You can shift to the right side and do the exact same thing. Hopefully you're able to kind of just start to see what is behind you. I can't quite see that plant again, but I can see the wall that it is up against. Now it's okay if both sides don't feel the exact same because we're not symmetrical, but the goal is to work on improving whichever side, both sides really you want to improve, but you want to try and work towards being a little bit more even on each side. But you may never get there, and that's okay. All right, finally, for the neck, we are going to clasp our hands behind our head, just like this. And then you're going to use your hands to not force your neck, but just gently help guide your neck, guide your chin, sorry, down to your chest, okay? Bringing that chin to your chest. And then you're gonna feel that stretch right in the back of your neck. So holding that for a few more seconds. Holding that there. It's really important that you are breathing regularly throughout these stretches, okay? So try not to hold your breath. Try not to lock your jaw. Try not to tense up too many muscles. You want to keep yourself nice and relaxed and breathing very slowly throughout all of these exercises. Okay, you can stand back up, give yourself a bit of a wiggle out if you need to. And then we are going to work on the chest. So again, if you're driving or if you're sitting at a keyboard, we're often quite rounded in the shoulders, and we want to open that chest area up because that rounded shoulder area or that rounded shoulder appearance is really going to take its toll on us, especially as we get older. That's where the hunchback is going to start to come in. But we don't want that. We want to work on bringing our chest up and forward. So what I'm going to have you do is, once again, clasp those hands behind your head, and then you're going to, instead of Coming forward, you're actually gonna bring your elbows back and then lifting your chest forward, okay? Making sure that you're pulling your shoulder blades together, almost trying to pinch a pencil between your shoulder blades. And then you're gonna feel the stretch right across the chest, opening that up and helping to correct that forward shoulder, rounded shoulder, okay? Once you feel like you've had enough of that, you can give that a shake out again, taking slow, deep breaths as we move through this. And then what I'm gonna have you do is reach up to the opposite corner. So with your right hand, you're gonna reach up to the left corner of the room, reaching as far as you can, but only stretching to the point of feeling that tension, never to the point of feeling pain. You're gonna feel the stretch all up the side into kind of the armpit area, through your tricep. This is a really, really good stretch, kind of leading us into the core area. We wanna really make sure we have lots of good range of motion throughout not only our neck, but also the core, so that we can constantly be twisting and turning without any issues. Same thing on the other side, so you're gonna lift the left arm up, moving it towards the right upper corner of the room. If you want, you can really lean into this, so kind of sliding your right hand down your leg and leaning a little bit more drastically over to the side. Or if you're standing up, that's okay too. Wherever you feel the best stretch is perfect. All right, bring that arm down. Next, we're just gonna do, this is actually going to be the final stretch, and it's gonna be a little bit more dynamic. We're gonna do just some twisting through the core. So again, if you're sitting, standing, driving, whatever you're doing during the day, you're probably not getting movements quite like this. So I'm going to have you stand, keeping your hips square towards me, and my hips will be square towards you, but we're gonna rotate our upper body either direction so that we feel that twist right in the core area, okay? I'm gonna make sure that you can see enough of me right now, and I'm just going to keep the hips facing you, but then my upper body rotates to the left, and then slowly to the right. Once again, you want to be able to kind of just start to see what's behind you, but if you're not able to get that far, that's okay. Rotating to the right, and again to the left. Moving through this quite slowly. I don't want you to be swinging back and forth, just enough that you are getting yourself into a deep enough stretch, not bouncing back and forth. We don't want to tear any muscles. We just want to help them move and stretch a little bit more than what they've been doing this year. Okay, you can give that all a good shake out, and then you can take a seat again. I promise the hard work is over, but I hope that you really do feel the benefits of that stretching. Physically, mentally, you'll be a little bit more alert for your workday. Your productivity will go up. Your mood will be boosted. Blood flow will be boosted. All of these really, really important things for you to be happy, healthy, productive. Now, we've talked a lot about your personal health and how you need to start taking better care of your health. But if you're in a position where you oversee other employees, or maybe the health and safety department of your employees, I think it would be a really good idea for you to start thinking about what you can do for them as far as their health and wellness goes. So start brainstorming with other coworkers, other members of the management team, or maybe a health and safety committee about what you can be doing to help them improve their health right now. Because we saw that during these past 7 months, a lot of companies had to let their wellness programs kind of fall by the wayside because they weren't able to do weigh-ins and fun challenges and group workouts that we would normally be doing in the office, because of course we can't be in the office, we can't be working out together and being that close to each other. So these kinds of things have just kind of not been the priority. But now is a really good opportunity to shift from helping your employees to just survive to helping them thrive. That's the entire theme of what I'm here to talk to you about today. There are many, many things that you can do socially distant, but to still allow them to work on their health improve morale amongst your employees, and as a result, help them to improve their productivity and their overall safety and morale and happiness, all of those great things in their job, okay? Now, I hope you enjoyed this little stretch break and motivating health talk. I hope that it's inspired you to maybe make a few changes that you have been wanting to do, but maybe just haven't gotten around to doing lately. And again, keep thinking about what you can do for your own employees. If you ever have any questions on different wellness programs that you should implement or that you could try, I'm happy to give you any ideas that you might need. Thank you.